Welcome back to another episode of It's Okay to Be Okay. Today, we are going to ask the question, what is the hidden psychological cost of waiting for the perfect time to start? I know that it's cost me years and a lot of money and a lot of relationships from fear of waiting to start. So we'll get into it. So welcome. I'm Melissa. I'm one of your hosts, and we're here with Crystal and Jennifer. This is episode 43 of our beautiful podcast. We are so glad you're here. We're so glad you're watching, and let's get in the nitty and gritty of this question. So, who wants to start?
I can a little bit, like just how you said what you kind of reflected of what the cost has been for you. For me, I see now the cost of the whole waiting for the perfect, every circumstances to be perfect and good to be okay and to, yeah, what does it cost? It costs missing out on living life to me when I reflect. It costs on, like you said, relationships for sure. And the not being present part of, being in relationships, whether that's your spouse, your parents, your friends, your children. So I see a lot of opportunities. Um, if I look back of what I missed, and I see now more of the beautiful opportunities because I know there's no such thing as that perfect time. And yeah, so Jen, I'll let you talk now.
You know, when I look back, and when I've waited, trying to wait for the perfect time to make my move or do something, it's created a lot of mental garbage. Me trying to figure it out and trying to make sure everything lines up perfectly because what? Because I control the world outside of me? No. And that waiting for the perfect moment created stress and so much thinking that, like you said, Crystal, it stole from the present. And there is no right time. There is no right time for any of it. And when we wait until we're ready, I don't know about you guys, but I've never been ready for anything in my life. And the more I try to prepare to get ready, the further behind I get. And what I love about this understanding is now I see it's now or never, Right now is the only time we have. So if there's something I want, if there's something I want to get to, the only way to get there is to start taking the first step, whether you're ready or not. Because what I've found is being ready is just a thought. It's just a thought. And when we haven't found our wisdom and we're still trying to figure everything out intellectually, those thoughts are going to keep us stuck right where we are, no matter how much we want to get out of it, because it's familiar.
Yeah, I think for me, when I first come to the principles, I had this misunderstanding about that everything is going to feel really easy and good in the moment to move forward in, goals or whatever I wanted to do. And that's just not reality. Yes, you can get like some big shifts and then it can move you forward, but sometimes that discomfort is needed to learn a skill that you want that you will need in the future. Like, I love this thing in a movie. I can't remember which movie it was. It's like you ask God for something, He doesn't give you what you want. He gives you the situation to learn from in order to have the skill to have what you want. And it's just like being and I really used to think that I needed to feel amazing in the moment and then I'd move forward. But sometimes that feeling of amazement is after you've made that first step. Like I think it was Dominic, he said about a sat nav doesn't work until you start moving. That really hit me. And quite often we do have wisdom that is guiding us, but the action that it's guiding us to do is uncomfortable. I had a 3-day event last week, and I won't tell you what one of the biggest breakthroughs were because I'm not ready to share it yet. But when it come up, it was literally wisdom just come through me, and I'm like, in that moment, I felt, oh my god, like I want this, but then at the same time, like, holy shit, that terrifies me. Go away. Like I'm not ready. I'm not ready for it. But it come up, and then the next day it come up again. I'm like, okay, I'm hearing you, but I'm not ready." You know? So wisdom's always talking to us, but that fear of not being ready can really keep us stuck and in place. And I think if, like now, like the last few months, I've seen these situations as little portals. They're little portals to move through. And when you move through them and get to the other side, it's like, well, that's why I needed to do that. So, yeah, that's my kind of 2 pence on it.
Yeah, I love that. And that it is that first step. And you know what? There's sometimes that quiet expectation too around, you know, just taking that first step and the whole, oh, it's going to be amazing because, I'm taking steps. It's not always like you guys are saying. Sometimes it's a learning thing. Sometimes it's we'll get quiet and listen for what wisdom's actually telling you. Yeah, you took the first step, and I'm not discouraging anyone from taking a first step. Of course, take the first step, but don't be discouraged if it doesn't come with all the bells and whistles that you want it to come with, because there might be, 3, 4, 5 more steps. Actually, the steps are endless, but in a good way, because that's part of the journey. But just, yeah, take that first step and with no expectation tied to it, because the cost of expectations is also keeping us stuck. The cost of the thinking, like you guys said, is keeping us right where we are. Um, yeah, because there is no perfect time, and it's really funny, like synchronicities of stuff. Like this is something in my book that I've been working on. I do touch on this a little bit, um, but basically just in my reflection of what it has cost me to not be present for most of my life. To think of that as something that wasn't available to me, it wasn't for me. It was for like enlightened people and these great mystics and gurus, not me, not the everyday person, but it is. It is for the everyday person. So I feel like I just kind of went off there a little bit, but that's, I don't know.
No, so I like what you were saying about like taking the first step, whether you're ready or not. And I look at even this last year for me, I was not ready to quit my last job, but I did it to try to start my own business. I was not ready to start my own business because the people that I wanted to reach out to weren't, it was just, but it led me to this job that I'm at now, where I get to work with the population and people that I want. And I get to help the people that are also working with them. And had I waited till I was ready, so I was ready to teach this and felt comfortable, I would still be at my old warehouse job. Okay. And I took this step even though I wasn't ready. And it didn't get me to where I thought I was going, but it got me right where I need to be. And now I'm doing well. Like people that have been written off by society that, you know, everyone's decided that there's no hope for these people. They're starting to get this. And not because I share it perfectly, but this goes back to that power of presence you were talking about. I don't have to share this perfectly. I just have to show up and know that these people have perfect mental health just below their thinking. And in that presence, I allow them to drop their walls because I don't have to pretend when they're with me. And when they can drop their thinking, it so it's this cycle. You don't have to be ready because when you believe you're ready, it's oftentimes too late, or you think you're ready and you jump all into it and then it's not what you expected. And that goes back to, where there's expectations, disappointment's not far. But when you can show up present and just take that next step and be open to what the universe opens up for you. Okay, it's not a straight line to get to where we want to be. We just have to know a direction and start going. And when we're present, when we trust in the wisdom that's inside of us, the universe works with us and doors open. And then it's just up to us to walk through.
It's like I was being guided to go to this 3-day event, and I had so much resistance to it. I was like, oh, is this going to be another thing that I do? Why am I being guided to do this? And it's quite funny because so much shit happened on the first day. I in the car, I went into someone at the car park and like scratched the car, and I was like, no. Um, my the brake pad light come on, the tire pressure come on, and then when I got to my like little place that I was staying at, it was like a freaking sauna. It was like this wooden thing, and it was the hottest day of the year. It was a sauna. There was no aircon or fan. And then when I turned the light on, the fan was broken. It was really loud, and I was just like, I give up. I was in such a bad mood, and I think it's because of the energy I was in. I was like, resistance to this kind of thing. I was like, this is not going to teach me anything I don't already know. Um, but then I just kept telling myself, the universe doesn't make mistakes. It's sending me here for a reason. And every time I kept saying that to myself, I'm here for a reason, just let go. And so I did. And the second day, it was really, really nice. And I found out even more stuff about like me and I actually got called arrogant on the first day. There's an arrogance about you. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'll accept that. Um, and then the second day, it was really nice, and it was like a community, and you got to like really spend time getting to know these people and like opening up and letting people in. And I realized, oh, I'm still not letting people in. Like I'm not allowing people's energy to come in. I'm still fearful of that connection. And that's what the arrogance is about. It's a kind of like a wall. And I was like, oh, this is why I'm being sent here, because I'm still struggling with clients and people where I'm completely open and I love people, but I'm still feeling like this energetic barrier between me and someone else because I know that I'm fearful of their energy, like sucking me dry. I was like, oh, okay. And then, was it the second day? Yeah, the second day, I felt like I actively opened my heart center out. And this was amazing. So, like, we did an exercise where you turn around and you face the one person, and you literally, about for 15, 20 minutes, you're just staring at them. You're not saying anything. You're just literally like eye contact. And do you know, that was really intense and really powerful. And then the second bit is like you're seated, and then one by one you go up on the stage, and you're looking at every single person. And I just felt my heart completely open up to the point where my whole body was shaking. I could feel energy. And then I could feel this energy around my heart, and it was literally going like this. And I just felt so open, and it just felt so beautiful, and I'm going to get teary, and it felt so beautiful, and I could just feel myself just throwing all this love to like these people coming up to the stage. And then when I got up there, I was just like love, 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 love. And it was just such a profound, beautiful moment. I was like, okay, it's safe to let love in. It's safe to love people fully. It's safe to keep that heart open. And yeah, and that was really, really powerful for me. I was like, okay, I get it now. I get why I was sent here, so that I could see that. And so much other happened as well. But on the third day, it was amazing. Oh, what was it? So I went at the bottom there's a village hall, and then you go down, and there's like a lake. Not a lake, a little stream. It was so beautiful. And I was sitting there on my own at one point, and then a woman from the course comes down. She gets in the stream. She doesn't say anything. She's just in the stream. And I go to say something. I'm like, oh, now I've got to perform. Now I've got to, like, I've got to be on. And then I was about to say something like, no, I don't want to say anything. I'm really enjoying this space and this presence at the minute. I don't have to perform. And she was in her own little bubble anyway. I'm like, I don't want to ruin that. So I literally just kind of like, no, it's okay. I don't have to be liked in that moment. That's one of my things. That I always want to be liked. And so I let it go. And then I was looking at the water, and it was this crystal clear water, really beautiful. And like, I really want to get in it. But I was wearing these shorts. And if they get wet, they get really see-through. And I was thinking, oh, if I go home, I'm going to regret not getting fully into this stream. So then I felt this surge of excitement and this surge of like, do it. I was like, do you know what, fuck it. I'm going to get in there, sit down. And I did. I got in there. It was freezing cold. But I was like, oh, this is just beautiful. And then as I'm sitting in there, I look up, and there was this like heron or hawk or something like literally flying above me, circling around me. I'm like, oh, wow. And then I was like, oh, power. Power. Like this. It was like a message, and there's butterflies kind of flying around me. And I happened to be just sitting there, and I'm literally feeling like there's like stones or whatever on the floor, and I'm literally just fiddling about with them. And then I pull one up, and it just happens to look like the head of an arrow. I'm like, oh, this is the direction. Follow this direction. It was all just like coming at me, and then I accidentally dropped it, and it was only like that much of water that I dropped it in, and I just could not find it. It literally disappeared. I was like, oh, where's it gone? And then the message, bang, straight in, you don't need to find it. You got the message. And I was just like, oh, wow. It's so beautiful. And then I got up, and I was talking to this guy, because another guy came over, Alex, who was in the course as well. And I was telling him about it, and he was like, wow, this is amazing. And I got out, and like, excuse my bum, but it's going to be see-through. And I was like, oh, how relevant. See-through. I'm showing myself. I'm allowing myself to be seen. But yeah, that was just such a beautiful moment. And that's because I followed that urge. I followed that inner voice, and it was a quiet voice, but it was persistent. It was like, go, go, go. I couldn't pay for it. My mum had to pay for it. It was in Gloucestershire. She was like 3 hours away. So, it was like, I can't really do this, but I just kept getting this voice. Go, you need to go. And yeah, I'm so glad I followed that voice. so glad that, you know, I'm doing it more and more now, and that voice is getting not necessarily louder, but more strong, more solid because I'm following it and I'm allowing it in and I'm acting on it. And yeah, I can really feel that kind of connection getting stronger. And it's a really beautiful feeling. But yeah, that's my story from last weekend.
I love that you, I mean, I love that whole story, but I love that you seen you didn't have to perform because I think that all of us in so many areas that we don't even realize, we perform. We're trying to be who we think they want us to be, you know? Like there's always this, well, they want me to be more like this, or I think they want me to be more like this. And we've never asked them. We've just decided the world thinks we should be like this, so we're not good enough. And we perform in everything that we do. And I mean, when I first started working at my job now, I felt like I had to perform, feel like I had to. And I was not getting through to my clients. They were not hearing me. And then this is where I go back to Sydney Banks, where he says, just be ordinary. Just be you. And you know, if you ever wait for anything before you do something, wait to stop performing. Wait to see that you are perfect just as you are, because it's in that ordinary, right? Where we just show up and we are us and we follow that wisdom, that guidance that's inside of us, not trying to be what we think other people want us to be. That's where our power is.
Yeah, I love that. But we do. We perform until we see that there is no reason to perform, like you were just pointing to. Until we see, also, till we recognize that we are performing. It might look like we're performing because somebody else wants us to, but we're performing from a lack of something inside of us. We're performing because we don't feel good enough. We're performing because we're insecure. We're performing because we're afraid of being judged. Those are the reasons why we perform. I performed for decades of my life. I don't even know how many versions of me existed over the years. Lots and lots. Not proud of all of them, but that's it's just kind of what we do until we see we don't. Until we see we don't need to. Until we are willing to be vulnerable and let it go and be okay. Like you were pointing to, Jen, with what Sid said, of being ordinary, of being ourselves, because our true, authentic selves are perfect. And yeah, it's a word that I don't like to use sometimes because I will say there's no such thing, right? We were just talking about the perfect circumstances. But our true authentic selves is absolutely everything we need. We don't need anything else. So then that whole urge to perform or the urge to articulate it perfectly or the urge to get quiet and figure yourself out, well, those just drop because you just do when you see just a little bit that you have perfect mental health. Oh, it's beautiful, and then it stops costing you. the psychological cost goes way down when you get a glimpse of that. In fact, it goes to almost nothing. I say almost because we're still humans, right? This past week, I spent about 24 hours where I was really crabby. I don't know why. I was frustrated and kind of cranky. And I laughed at myself because of it. And I was talking to my husband and I said, and this had been when it was almost like 24 hours. I was like, he said something to me and I was kind of snippy back. And I was like, I'm really cranky. He's like, I can tell. I was like, it's been going on for 24 hours. He's like, I know. And I'm like, he's like, why? I said, I don't know. I don't care. Not digging in for why. Just, I'm going to just write it out. It didn't last much longer than that. But yeah. So every day is not rainbows and sunshine. Sometimes we hit a car, bump into something. Sometimes we have a client that might be like, oh, what am I going to do with this one? Sometimes it's just, we need to just recognize that everything that we have, like I've said already, is inside us already. And when we see that, wow, that's a relief. That's a relief. And it's also a relief. I don't know which one of you hit on the whole being guided, maybe both of you, being guided by wisdom. That's a relief too. I don't have to figure out the next step. That doesn't mean stand right where I am and don't do anything. That means get quiet and listen because wisdom does open a door. But and this is just the way I see it, it opens lots of doors. Because just because you might go through one and it might not be that right door in the moment, there's a reason you went through that door. But there'll be another one. And we just have to wait. And so, yeah, that's my little rant, I guess.
Yeah, I love what you just said there about following the wisdom and feeling, I can't even remember the words you just said, but that whole kind of letting go of the control of the life and letting wisdom do the work for you. Like, that really has lifted a weight off me. Like, even just saying that to myself, I'm here for a reason. It just allowed me to trust it and just go with the flow and go with it instead of resisting it and fighting it. And now I live this life where I may not be exactly where I am, exactly where I want to be, but I know that I'll get there because I just trust that I'm on the road where I need to be. Like before, I used to get really frustrated. I used to get really like, oh, I'm not where I want to be and try to control everything. But now I just say to myself every day, I'm exactly where I need to be. And that just lifts this weight off my shoulders. And it's just like, okay. And like you said, it doesn't mean not doing anything. It just means acting from an aligned place instead of a control or trying to force it or, from an ego and it's so much nicer, like I struggled, like I would go into this thing where I would try to just follow my intuition fully, but then I'd come out of it from panic and then I'd try and follow it. But now I'm literally really just surrendering and letting my wisdom show me the way and trusting it. And yeah, I just feel so free and light and like I just have this innate knowing that the universe has my back. And like everything that I experience is for a benefit, even the good, even the bad, even the things that I consider bad, like the car, you know, I knew it happened that day for a reason. And I know that, it was something that was ready to be released and let go of. And that was fear of getting stuff wrong, of doing something bad, that I'm a bad person. And it all come up. And like, yes, sometimes we can look like this is what I realized from this 3-day event because a lot of the stuff was very much aligned with the three principles. We create our own illusion, we create our own realities and everything like that. But On this one, they did go back into the past a bit. Like, they brought up some stuff. And that's where my resistance come from at first. I was like, no, do you know what? Just go with it. And I realized that George talks about this sometimes, George Pranksy. I think it was in one of his books. Like, when the time is right for that thing that we're holding on to come out and be released, it will come up. We don't have to go digging, but we don't have to resist it even when it comes up to the surface. It's like, oh, she's ready to release this now, so then it comes up. And I felt like that was what this was about for me. It's like I had a few things that I didn't realize I was still holding on to or still believing. And this was the perfect environment for me for those things to come up naturally and release. And it was not hard at all. Like, it wasn't hard. It was just so easy. And like, it just come up, like, and there's some things about like my sexuality and the thing that come up that I did not expect to come up. You know, you thought it would be due to something else and it was completely different. And I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And it was just so lighthearted and I was able to just release it. And so, yeah, I don't know where I'm going with that.
Well, I like what you're saying there, and that, so yes, our past will come up. It's what it is. But that's not even what I was going to talk about. So sorry. I want to back up some. And that whole I'm not where I want to be thing. Sitting right here, I was listening to you and I was thinking about it. And it's like, I remember when I was just like, if I could just wake up in the mornings and not feel like I was under attack. If I could just get to the store without having that overwhelming anxiety that makes me leave my basket in the middle of the store and not buy anything. And sorry, kids, we're not eating this week because there was a lot of people at the store and mommy couldn't handle it. And, it's like, that was the goal. That was all I needed to figure out. And I did so many meds and I did so many counseling and so much crap and didn't get any closer. And then I found the principles and I understood what was happening. And that changed everything. And now it's like where I'm at. Am I where I want to be all the way? No, but I'm so much further than I ever believed I would ever get. So sometimes we have to take that step not knowing what's going to happen. And sometimes we resist all the way through. Because I don't know, for months and months, I called the principal's bullshit. This is bullshit. I'm not going to learn anything. Me. But I kept listening. And that made all the difference. And it's funny. It's funny how just listening to some people talk about shit that we've all talked about can change your life so completely, so utterly. Like, if anyone ever told me that I'd work in an office at a computer and I would be helping people, be like, right, like go to prison, I was really good at helping people get in trouble and break the law and do stupid shit. And yet here I am. And I don't even know where I was going, but just that a simple understanding can change everything. And when you get those huge roadblocks out, like waking up in the morning and feeling like, what's the point of trying? You're never going to get it right. I felt like I was just getting bombed from the moment I opened my eyes. And now Some mornings, are they there? Yes. But now instead of trying to duck for cover, and I take a deep breath and I realize this is thought in the moment and it'll settle. As soon as I call it, it settles. And then I get that, and we talk about the great feeling. Look for the great feeling. Well, sometimes it's not a great feeling. Sometimes it's just like a layer of bricks has been lifted off your chest and you can breathe. Sometimes it's just space to breathe. That's the feeling you're looking for. And in that space to breathe, wisdom comes up. You don't have to wait for the perfect time. You don't have to go for it. You just have to quiet your mind and you'll know the next step.
I love what you said. But yeah, here's the thing about the great feeling. And I know I'm starting to lag a little bit here. And the good feeling is it's different feelings, if that makes sense. So I don't know if you guys can hear me. Okay. Um, a ton of bricks being lifted off you and being able to breathe again. Well, hell yeah, that's a great feeling. It's just a different kind of great feeling. That's all it is. So it's still a great feeling, a good feeling, a nice feeling, a beautiful feeling, whatever you want to say, that where we can experience the wisdom and the slowdown and all of that good stuff. But yeah, I think I just wanted to say that it feels different. It just depends on the day. It depends on the moment. I mean, I've had good feelings, just being present brings a beautiful feeling. But it's not always the same beautiful feeling every time I get present. It could be a different one. And but I like what you said though, that big, huge, like exhale. It's, for me personally, when I feel that way, it's like my soul took a big that it needed for so long. And man, there's nothing more beautiful than that for me in the moment. I'm sure I'll think of something else later. Yeah, I just wanted to say that. I love it because they're all beautiful feelings. It just depends on the feeling.
Yeah, I think what I get out of that is like when it comes from divine, when it comes from source, when it's intuition, it's always a good feeling. Even if the thing it's telling you to do is fucking terrifying. So, for instance, like when I was at that event, I had a thought come in and it said something. And when it was coming through, it was this beautiful feeling and I cried. I started crying when we was in this little meditation thing because it just come in so strong and I started crying and then I was like, "Oh no, like I'm not ready for that. Like go away." But in that moment when I call it like a download, when the download actually came in, it was such a beautiful feeling. And it's like I can't ignore that. So, I feel like there's always a difference when it's come from wisdom, like, no matter what the situation is, that's how you know it's wisdom, that's how you know it's intuition, because it does have a beautiful feeling, even if it's terrifying, or even if you don't wanna do what it's telling you to do. Like, when it first hits, it's beautiful, and then the ego gets involved, and then that's when it turns into like, "Oh, no, I don't wanna do that."
I love that you say that because it's that pesky ego, our image of self importance, that keeps us from following our wisdom. It's that, well, I need to be this and I need to be different and I need to stand out and I need everybody to like me and I need to do it perfect every time. It's hard to be perfect when you don't know what you're doing. the ego always wants to know what it's doing. And wisdom will take you down roads you've never been, that you didn't know existed. And it can be scary because the ego wants to know, and it fills in the blanks with the most horrible shit it can come up with. But when we can see that as just thought and take those steps into the unknown, the whole world opens up. And it might not be exactly what we were thinking, but it's always going to move up, and it's always going to get better as long as we can bypass that ego and go with our wisdom. I've kind of come to realize that if it's fear, that's the ego. And if it's understanding or love, that's our wisdom. The feelings. And I'm getting better at feeling those feelings of fear and doing it anyway.
Yeah. I don't know where Crystal's popped off to. She's probably gone to... Oh, here she is. And she's back.
It longer than it did last time.
Ah, don't you love technology? Oh, God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know what I was going to say, but yeah, Jen, that was really beautiful.
I could hear you, Jen.
Oh.
It was really beautiful. Yeah.
So yeah, where was the psychological
Cost.
of staying small? Yeah, I love doing this podcast because we share so much, and we're getting so much feedback lately about how this podcast is helping people and inspiring people, and that fills me with so much joy, And so I really want to help people get rid of that cost. Because every single one of us has the ability to have the most amazing lives we can have. Imagine if every single one of us followed our own wisdom and not the ego. Where would be? And now I feel like, let's make it into a game. Let's the game, follow the wisdom. See where it takes you. Get curious about it. Be playful. Yeah. I think we can make a game out of this. Yeah. Okay, I'm getting ideas popping into my head.
Well, I love that. And the thing, when you guys just repeated it, what is the psychological cost? It's staying stuck. We keep ourselves stuck, and we never get to see what we're capable of because we're waiting for the right time.
Yeah. And for me, like, I don't think I've swayed much from what I said in the beginning. The psychological cost I see is missing out on life, is missing out on living, is missing out on the ordinary, beautiful, magical moments that are everywhere all the time. That's, for me, the psychological cost.
There's one thing on this retreat that really stuck with me. And it was about why does the chick why does it want to get out of the hatch? And it's like, because it's got no food left. It's got no energy. And when we've got no energy, when we're miserable, when we're not like, it's because we've run out of food, we've run out of energy. It's time to be reborn. And that really stuck with me. And she said, it's the same as like a baby. Like that baby that reality is in the baby. Like that's all the reality it knows. It's going into the unknown through that birth canal and then out into the world. It's the unknown. And why does it do that? Because it's run out of space. You know, our lives are the same. We've run out of energy because it's not serving us. It's not fueling us. It's not giving us, we've been following our ego and there's only so much energy that can have. But now it's time to hatch, to get out of the shell that we're stuck in. And that's that stuckness. We're in that stuck in that shell and we've run out of food, we've run out of energy. And now it's time to burst through that fucking shell and go into the unknown and have another, yeah, you agree, don't you, Bezzy? And have another life. And that's not the only time it's going to happen. And I've really resonated that because now I'm like, okay, every time I run out of energy, every time I run out of, that feeling of stagnation, okay, I've got to push myself into the unknown and get bigger because that's what our soul wants. That's why I come here, to grow and get bigger and expand. Yeah, but I just wanted to share it because that really resonated with me.
I know. I think this is great. So unless you two have something you want to add, Jen?
Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think. Tell us what you'd like us to talk about. Share us with your friends, anybody this would be helpful, Yes, all feedback is welcome, and we thank every last one of you for watching and for commenting and for supporting us. Thank you.
We love you. Bye, everyone.
1, 2.